In July of 2023, Travis Scott dropped his fifth album, Utopia, which came 5 years after Astroworld, the album that will propel Travis into the upper echelon of hip-hop stardom. Between 2018 to 2023, he would experience the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The highest being hit record after hit record on the Billboard Hot 100, multiple brand deals with some of the biggest companies in the world, and of course, the most important thing, becoming a father. However, the lowest of lows were the tragic events that happened at Astrofest in November 2021, where sadly 10 people lost their lives. After that incident, Travis received a lot of blame for what happened, and his career was in serious jeopardy. It also didn't help that he had one of the worst apology videos either. I mean, it was that bad. But fast forward 2 years later, and Travis is bigger than ever. He's back to headlining shows, and Utopia is a massive success, selling 500,000 copies in his first week, cementing Travis as one of the all-time greats. But just a few years ago, Travis was public enemy #1, so how did we get to this point where Travis Scott is redeemed and loved again in the public eye? Travis Scott, whose real name was Jaquise Bermond Webster II, was born in Houston, Texas in 1991. However, he spent much of his early growing up years in Missouri City, a middle-class suburban area bordering southwest Houston. It was during his high school years that he began to immerse himself in the world of music. He developed a passion for creating beats and experimenting with different sounds on his computer. Interesting fact, the name Travis comes from his favorite uncle's first name, while Scott is derived from his idol Kid Cudi. He graduated high school a year early at 17, however he would frequently skip class to work on music. As you could imagine, this caused a major conflict between Travis and his parents. He wanted to pursue music, but his parents wanted him to take the traditional route of getting a 9-to-5 job. Despite all this, Travis still attended college at the University of Texas at San Antonio. He wouldn't stay long though and dropped out at 19 to focus on music full-time. After leaving college, Travis moved to New York City where he started working with Mike Wax, who owned the music website Ill Roots. He stayed with various producers and musicians while in New York City, sleeping on floors and couches while working late nights at Just Blaze's studio. Unfortunately, after 4 months in New York, Travis began feeling frustrated by the lack of progression in his career and moved to Los Angeles. Now, this is where things would get really interesting for Travis. You see, after dropping out from college, Travis would keep this a secret from his family. Travis used the money that his parents gave him for textbooks and food to buy plane tickets and studio time. Well, it all backfired for Travis because around the same time he moved to LA, his parents paid him a surprise visit in San Antonio, only to find out he had dropped out. They cut off all financial support they were giving Travis. This eventually made him homeless and on his own. Once again, he had to rely on his friends helping him out. This was definitely a hard time for Travis, but this may have been the push he needed to start releasing more music online. He would finally catch a major break in 2012 when hip-hop legend T.I. reached out to him after hearing a song he recorded during his time in New York called Lights, Lovesick. From there, Travis signed to T.I.'s record company, Grand Hustle Entertainment, sometime around 2012. However, he didn't just sign with one rap superstar, he signed with 2 of them. The other one being his childhood idol Kanye West and his Good Music label, after Kanye was also impressed with Travis's Lights, Lovesick song. The life Travis always wanted was now in front of his grasp. In 2015, Travis released his debut album, Rodeo. Prior to that, he dropped a few mixtapes in 2013's Owl Pharaoh and 2014's Days Before Rodeo. Both were met with critical acclaim from critics and helped him gain a dedicated fan base. However, Rodeo made Travis a hip-hop star. It's considered today as one of the best trap albums of all time. The biggest record from that album was Antidote, which would peak at number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100 and be certified 4 times platinum. His second album came in 2016 titled Birds in the Trap, Sing, McKnight. Unfortunately, the album did not live up to expectations. Many felt it just didn't compare to Rodeo because Birds sounded less unique and more generic. Despite that, the album still debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart and spawned the hit singles Pick Up the Phone and Goosebumps featuring Kendrick Lamar. He also broke a Guinness World Record in 2017 for the most consecutive performances of a song during a show after he performed Goosebumps 15 times in a row. Crazy! With the Birds in the Trap era now behind him, all eyes shifted toward his next album, Astroworld. It was named after a Houston theme park that closed down while Travis was still in high school. In a 2018 interview, he said that Astroworld was the real sequel to Rodeo, but Birds in the Trap was something he felt inspired to make and had to get out of the way before he could focus on his true second album. I should mention he did drop a joint album with Quavo in 2017 called Honcho Jack, Jack Honcho, but it was really bad, so we're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist. It was also during that year when he created his Cactus Jack record label. Next year in 2018, he became a father for the first time after he and Kylie Jenner gave birth to their daughter, Stormy Webster. Later that year in August, hip-hop fans were relieved when the Astroworld finally released. And bro, it delivered on everything Travis had promised. It was dark, psychedelic, fun, and had massive crossover appeal. It featured a wide range of guest artists including Drake, Kid Cudi, Frank Ocean, The Weeknd, and many more. These collaborations added depth and variety to the album's sound. Astroworld easily debuted atop the US Billboard 200 chart, selling 537,000 copies in its first week. Massive numbers. Astroworld also produced several hit singles that became anthems. Butterfly and Stargazing were amazing standout tracks that showcased Travis's ability to create atmospheric and captivating music. Sicko Mode featuring Drake became a cultural phenomenon and his first #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. That time period was a defining moment for Travis, as the success of Astroworld made him a global superstar. All of a sudden, you're seeing Travis collaborating with huge brands like Nike, McDonald's, PlayStation, Fortnite, Reese's Puffs, and many others. His influence in pop culture and his ability to connect with younger audiences cemented his role as a trendsetter. In 2019 and 2020, Travis continued to release more music, including Highest in the Room, Discuss with Kid Cudi, and Franchise with Young Thug and MIA. All 3 songs became instant hits, debuting at #1 on the Hot 100. Travis was on top of the world, however, he would soon be at risk of losing everything he worked hard for. On November 5th, 2021, at least 10 people died and hundreds were injured during Travis's annual Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas. Overcrowding, a poorly managed festival, and an artist that promotes stampedes were the main reasons why the Astroworld Festival became the most devastating concert in hip-hop history. The festival had already been dealing with crowd control issues on the day prior to Travis's concert, but the fatal crush occurred during his concert. The cause of death for all 10 individuals was ruled as an accidental compressive asphyxiation. For those who don't know what that is, it's when your body is deprived of oxygen. According to a medical expert, what likely happened was the pressure from a large crowd at the event was so great that it quickly squeezed all the air from the lungs of the 10 victims, causing them to pass out within a minute or so. So what were the events that led to this unfortunate accident, and could it have been prevented? The festival was planned for 2 straight nights. Tickets were sold out and 100,000 people in total were expected to attend. The number was then reduced to 50,000 closer to the event. But that wasn't going to stop fans from getting into the festival. At the beginning of the day, fans were storming the gates, literally stomping on others to get in. Now, because you have people breaking into an already sold out show, you're going to get overcrowded. You could argue the authorities and staff could have prepared for this. After all, Travis was known for encouraging his fans to break into shows before. In 2015 at Lollapalooza, he was arrested after telling the crowd to ignore security and rush the stage. Travis received a lot of the blame for what happened, especially for not stopping his show completely. But it wasn't entirely his fault. This festival was just poorly managed. There wasn't enough medical staff on hand for this event. You had teenagers performing CPR themselves. That's how bad it was. Reports were that several people in attendance were screaming at Travis to stop performing, but there is no way he could have heard them when there are over 50,000 people singing along to his songs. In this footage, a girl is begging the cameraman to stop the show because people were dying.
Get in there! Get in there!
That's okay with you real quick.
The cameraman was probably too focused on his job to understand what she was saying, but still, it's not a good look for him. When Travis did notice things on his end, he did stop the show multiple times to get people in the crowd some help. He probably didn't think it was anything too serious because people passing out at the Travis Scott show was pretty common. It could have been a lack of hydration, drugs, or exhaustion. Plus, most of the audience doesn't know what's happening because they can't see what's happening. I do, however, think he should have scanned the crowd, cut the music, and asked if everyone was okay. That would have been reasonable. On Twitter, Travis made a statement offering his condolences to those who died, and later that same day, he posted an apology video that did not sit well with the public.
To the ones that was lost last night, we're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. I could never imagine anything like this just happening. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated.
He was heavily ridiculed and his video became an internet meme. His PR department decided to film this in black and white for extra sincerity. I am never going to financially recover from this. Closing his eyes the whole time and ceaselessly rubbing his forehead made it seem super sincere. Multiple lawsuits were filed, with most of it coming from the victims' families, which is understandable. However, in the summer of 2023, the grand jury of Houston, who was overseeing this case, had officially made a decision that Travis Scott would not be indicted in connection with the Astrofest Tragedy. We got 10 different families in 10 different communities who lost their loved ones, and I wish them nothing but the best for the future, as well as anyone else who was affected by this. Travis returned to the stage at the 2022 Billboard Music Awards, marking his first performance since the Astrofest Tragedy back in 2021. Earlier that year, he and Kylie Jenner had also welcomed their second child with Webster. Travis did a few more shows that year, including a surprise appearance at Rolling Loud with Future. Things were starting to get back to normal for Travis. However, 2023 would prove if Travis had truly found redemption from his fans. This is it, the big one, Utopia. He had been teasing it for years and the hype was insane. The first single from the album was K-pop, featuring Bad Bunny and The Weeknd. It was instantly a smash hit, debuting at number 7 on the Hot 100. During Travis's Rolling Loud set that same week, he announced that Utopia was releasing the next week along with a film titled Circus Maximus. On July 28th, 2023, Utopia finally released and quickly crashed Spotify and Apple Music. Everyone gave their 2 cents about the album, but all in all, the reviews from fans and critics were very favorable. A lot of people felt Utopia was a much needed thing for hip-hop because there was a notion going around that hip-hop was dying in terms of being the #1 genre in music. And they were right, hip-hop was way too generic and boring. No artist was taking a risk to do something a little bit different, but Utopia did. It was heavily influenced by his mentor Kanye West's semi-rock album, Yeezus from 2013. Coincidentally, Travis worked on that album also. He has an ear for production and he really showcases it throughout Utopia. Coupled with features from the biggest stars in the world like Drake, SZA, 21 Savage, and even Beyonce, there was no way this album could fail. First week's sales totaled nearly 500,000 and Utopia easily became Travis's 4th #1 album on the Billboard 200. Now LaFlame, which is what Travis calls himself, is taking his show on the road as he just announced his Utopia Presents Circus Maximus tour, making this the first tour since the Astrofest Nightmare. I think why Travis has found redemption for the most part is that he's not seen as a bad person. What happened at Astrofest was unfortunate, but it wasn't like he intended for those deaths to happen. He's done a lot of work to restore his image, including launching a long-term series of community-focused philanthropy and investment efforts called Project Heal through his Cactus Jack Foundation. It focuses on education, mental health, and addressing safety challenges for large-scale live events. Ultimately, the music speaks for itself and he knows exactly how to deliver what his fans want. He's tapped in with the youth. It's the same reason why Kanye is never really cancelled. It's because he's so good musically and innovative across everything that he does that we give him chance after chance. Is it right? Maybe not, but that's just the way it is. And just like Kanye, it looks like Travis Scott is here to stay for a long time.